Alright, what's up guys? So, a little change of setting. ASU was having some connection problems, so I'm here at home, and let's just start off where we left off. Alright, so something I didn't cover in my last video is that Colin said last week that we should focus more on the innovation side. So the ideas around it, and less on introducing our topics, because we have so little time typically in class to present. So that's what these videos are this week. And I'm going to do 5 separate videos, all based on our topic. So, starting off with arts and culture. Um, so how I kind of address the problem is I split it up into between 2 different parts of our sector: developed versus developing. Because I feel like creating the dichotomy is important, because both of these settings work with completely different capacities. So I feel the need to do this. If you disagree, that's fine. So starting off with developing under arts and culture, one of the things as a target area we could innovate in is maybe tariffs on art exports. And what I mean by this is typically when there's an exchange between developed and developing nations, as in exported from developing, going as an import for developed nations, typically there's some inequities because um, typically developing nations, or I shouldn't say nations, but developing people don't have a centralized government that works to help protect them and the consumer when it comes to free trade. And um, free trade might not be fair trade. So that's what I'm getting at. Maybe there could be a body or an organization that works to become a hub for the conversation to start. So say there is people in Indonesia that happen to have, not Indonesia, maybe Ghana. That there's people in Ghana that have some that are part of tribal affiliation in the area that want to exchange their goods and ship them overseas, and either for as far as archaeological digs or just pure goods that they produce, and they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to go about doing it. Making a centralized organization around it could create a marketplace that allows um, developed nations to communicate with developing nations. So they would help to not only guide them in the um, business side of things, but they make sure the trade is, like I said, fair. Um, so something else that I have down here is, and a whole other topic, finding culturally acceptable solutions. So what I mean by this is, I'll give you an example. Um, I'm working, I'm taking a class with an American Indian sustainability, and one of the problems they find is when they want to put in infrastructure, it's typically, like Colin was saying, pragmatic solutions, or I think Mark was actually stating this. It's either pragmatic solutions, getting stuff done, and um, for the common good, versus I don't want to call it a bureaucracy, but a pushback from the cultural end, saying that we don't agree with this. We should do it a different way because this is not this is against our norms and values. So maybe creating an organization, or it, also on the policy end, in this case, you could create a policy, maybe even a task force, um, given the geographical settings and locations, that focuses on bridging this gap and finding solutions that would be acceptable And how this would work is they would work with communities in a cultural setting and find target areas that are primed for adaptation and change. So, for example, I think the Navajo Nation feels that solar panels are the way to go for energy versus on the cultural side versus the pragmatic thinkers that say, well, let's make a coal-fired or natural gas power plant and get more electricity for um, uh, the amount of area we have to utilize. And I'm not advocating either. I'm just saying that I feel like there needs to be a forum for these two to communicate, and having a central body for that could be key. So let's see here. So this is incredibly impromptu, so bear with me here. As far as the developed side goes, I have down Language Preservation Society, and this goes again on my whole premise of making an organization around preserving language. And this could be a global scale. This could be, we can have many different chapters. It depends, but something that Navajo also feel that they have a problem with um, is that as they become more and more assimilated in the U.S. culture, um, of course, they see a loss of their native language, and as the cultures go on, their kids become more and more assimilated, yet have no respect for old culture. And I feel like this could be key in not only just teaching people their cultures and where they came from, but it could be key for um, tribes and people that don't have a lot of infrastructure and are working, that could work together for a common goal and tackle common problems. So it'd be kind of like a tool to unite in a way. And um, yeah, so I might have more solutions to this, and I'm probably going to add them as comments. But I have two that kind of bridge the gap between developed and developing. So I'm going to start off with what I call society gates, and these are things that I've seen before. It's not my innovation. I just would like to see it more widely adopted. Think of it as an electronic amphitheater. What I mean by that is you've probably seen the giant walls that are human scale, so probably 7 foot, and they're like giant webcams, if you will. And how they typically work is you would have one side that could see the other, and they'd be halfway across the world. So, for example, there would be one wall in France communicating with us here in the U.S., and it'd be a giant public space. And you could just wave hi or see what's going on across the world. And maybe there could be even different channels where you flip through the channels, or if there's a moderator, somebody who kind of points you towards what's going on at the time, or if there's something of importance. So say if there's a cultural assembly or a dance in a certain location, maybe that can be tagged onto a board, and that'd be a popular channel that would be open. I really would love to see that. So as far as the other idea that would work on both scales, developing and developed, or a partnership of the two, is International Citizens Panel on Sectarian Violence. So as we all know, we've been at war for the past decade, and we've gone in and out of conflicts nonstop, and there's no real solution to the problem. But in this day and age, if ambassadors are not doing I mean, they might be doing their absolute best, but if they can't achieve anything, we got to look for other solutions. And mine would be that instead of a top-down, having ambassadors represent everyone they speak for, how about in this day and age, a bottom-up approach? In the fact that we could have individuals that are looking and searching for pragmatic solutions on both sides and are willing to sit down and talk. And these would be people that live in this day to day and may feel that their representatives are not accurately representing their voices. So have them come over and have their own summit, and it would be kind of like a bottom-up summit. Like if there's any other summit. All right, and so that concludes arts and cultures from my point of view. You're welcome to. Hopefully, this gives whoever's working on arts and cultures some ideas. And again, you don't have to work with mine. I'm just giving you a little bit of feedback or heads up. Thank you.